Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Windy Melinda and I'm from PBC. And I want a story about Princess Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. It tells the story of a princess born to a royal family. The queen and king have married for a long time, but have not been blessed with children. So the king begged and prayed to God to give her a child. During the heavy snowfall, the queen prays to have a child who is white as snow and lips were red like blood. And apparently the queen prayer was answered, but after giving birth to a sickly queen, before she died and queen named her child Snow White. The king was very sad for the queen's departure. As time went on, Snow White grew and bigger, and needed a mother. The king married an evil witch. The king was in magic to submit the witch to the witch, and Snow White was killed. But the service that was ordered to kill Snow White couldn't bear it because Snow White was very beautiful and kind. So as proof he had killed Snow White, he broke a pig's heart to give unto witch. One day, the evil witch asked the magic mirror who is the most beautiful. The mirror said, "Of course you are, but there is something more beautiful, namely Snow White." The witch also know that Snow White has not died, and Snow White lived with the seven dwarfs who are kind, and the seven dwarfs are kind because they have given a place and given food. And the seven dwarfs given a place to live with Snow White. The witch was very angry and slammed the glass because Snow White hadn't died. She changed her form into a very old grandmother and broke a postman apple to give to Snow White. Snow White didn't know that the grandmother was a witch because she fell and sang the grandmother. Snow White which exchanged apple for bread because the grandmother won bread. After eating the apple, Snow White went drank to sleep and didn't wake up. The seven dwarfs were very sad and cried, but a prince came to see seven dwarfs crying, and the prince saw Snow White in his dream, and the prince remembered Snow White in his dream, and the prince believed Snow White was his soulmate. So he kissed Snow White for her head, and Snow White woke up for a long sleep. The prince immediately helped Snow White to catch the evil witch. The prince and princess married. The witch was locked up. The king of Snow White's father was saved. They lived happily, and the finished story. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.